Hey everybody, Iskamaha here with Iskamaha Studios. Tonight we're doing another gear review. I have with me the Golden Age Project Pre-73 preamplifier here. This is an outboard preamp. So basically you'd go and you attach your microphone to this via the connections in the back here. You got your XLR input right there. That's where you'd hook up your microphone, and then this would go into, come out of here and go either into your interface or mixer or whatever you're, recording out of. It's also got the balanced TRS ins and outs and stuff right here, and then this is your power over here. And then the front, right? We have all these different controls here. So initially, starting from left to right, you got your power right here. You got your 1/4 inch DI in. That's the button that you would engage to tell the preamp, hey, this is a DI signal. So you turn that on. Above that is a little switch that says mic and line. I don't know if you can see that right there. But basically what that is that's a little switch to engage to tell this preamp, hey, this is a line signal or a microphone signal. Next to that, you have the button that says 48 volts, which is, phantom power, right? Above that, it looks like it's a HP1, HP2. Looks like maybe a high pass filter, I wonder. Yeah, that's probably what that is. And then Air 2, Air 1, Air 2. That's like a setting for like the vintage mode to get kind of more of that that kind of vintage sound of it. And then of course you have your gain knob here, and I mean it goes up to 80. I mean it's got a pretty significant amount of gain there, and I like the switch because it's not just like a knob that you turn. It's like actually got like clicks on it, which is nice because I feel like that gives you better control over what it is that you're doing when you have these little notch switches here, so you don't mistakenly just crank it, and then of course you have your output knob right here, and that's just your level knob for when you're running through it, how much of the signal do you want to actually come out of this piece of gear. And then over here, that last little button right there, that's the reverse polarity switch. So if you got phase in stuff, if you need to reverse the phase on something, you can hit that switch right there. And that's pretty much the gist of this. I will be here in a very short amount of time, be doing a test with this and be kind of running through it and everything. So you'll have to stay tuned for that here. It's going to be coming up shortly. I'm going to kind of test this out. I'm going to run different things through it. So I have this Shure 55 microphone here that I'm going to actually be running through it vocal wise, and testing that out. And then I also have over here, I won't show you right now, but I have a condenser microphone that I would try with it as well. There's also another piece of gear that I'm going to kind of do a little review on, right? So I have another preamp here, and it's kind of funny, it's called the Dynamite stick because it literally comes in a case that looks like dynamite. And this is actually what this thing looks like. It looks like a little tube of, or kind of like a shotgun shell, or like a little tube of lipstick or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of like the same thing that we had with this vintage preamp over here, but you have one end here, and you just, your one XLR cable would connect to here, and then one XLR cable would connect to here. Or you can put this end directly into the input of your interface, and then the microphone XLR just attaches to right here. And this is basically just like a little level booster. It's the same thing as like one of those. It just brings the gain up. It literally, and I'm pretty sure if I'm reading this correctly, this one specifically here, yeah, it boosts your gain by 28 dB, which is way more than you could ever really need. So yeah, it's very, you know, I've actually used one of these before. These are actually really nice. The Dynamite stick, I could do the review on right this second because these are really nice. If you just have like a microphone that doesn't have a lot of gain and you need something to kind of boost that signal, like the Shure SM7B is a notorious microphone for needing a little bit of boost on the gain. Then this is a very good preamp to have with for that. But the same thing with the Shure. I mean, I'm using this is my interface that I'm using right here. This is a PreSonus USB 96, and I guess we can talk about this while we're on the video too here. But I mean, this is a very basic interface here. You got your two inputs that are combo jacks, which means you can plug a microphone into this, or you can actually plug a 1/4 inch line or TRS like instrument into it. It doesn't really matter at that point. But then you have, you know, you have your input knobs here, right, for the gain of both of those channels. You have your mixer here, which basically says, okay, do I want to listen to my inputs? So you'd have that all the way to the left, which would be that way. And then you have all the way to the right, you're now listening to the playback. So like when you're recording into Pro Tools, when you go into playback mode, that is essentially listening to the mix from the computer, right? But then you have your headphones here in the back, or sorry, on the top here is where your headphones are. And then you have your main outs if you're using like speakers and whatnot, like if you're connecting to, you know, studio monitors or something like that. And that brings us to the back where you have your USB connection into the computer. And then right here in this section, you got MIDI. So you can hook up a keyboard or a MIDI synthesizer or anything that, you know, you have MIDI connections with. You could record right into the back of here, which is pretty cool because not every single interface will have MIDI inputs. Like some don't. Like one of the versions of the Scarlett, I think it's the 4th gen Scarlett 2i2 from Focusrite. They don't have the MIDIs on the back. They just have line ins and line outs. So yeah, and then you have your main outs here with the 1/4 inch, and then you have your headphone jack. And for the price of this was like $80. And I will say, I've already this is what I've been doing all my recording with for the last year, really. And it's not bad. It's a good bang for your buck. It's affordable, and for what it is, it does the job. But the reason I bought this little Dynamite stick here was because the preamps in this for this Shure microphone are just not conducive to what it is that I'm trying to do. And you really, with that microphone, especially in this interface, you really have to smash the gain. Like you have to, but the downside of smashing the gain like that is that when you smash the gain like that, you're bringing up the whole noise floor with it, and you're bringing up all this extra stuff that you don't want in your recording, and it's kind of frustrating here. And this also has phantom power too, by the way. I forgot to mention that. If you just hit that button, that engages the phantom power. So you could still use condenser microphones and stuff like that with this. I mean, this is designed to be kind of an all-in-one sort of a thing. Like this is what you use to record, right? And this is like a good starter if anyone's like trying to start recording. This is a perfect thing for you right here. It's very easy to use, very easy to understand. Like I said, you have the 2 inputs here. You can do microphone, you can do instrument, you can do line. You know, like I'm going to hook this preamp that I have that I showed you guys earlier into this, and that's how I'm going to record. And when I show you the video representations of like when I go through the different the noises of that, which will be in kind of the next video, I'm going to show you kind of the difference in sound without the preamp and with the preamp. And I'm probably going to do a video with both. I'm gonna test this one out too, and you'll have an A/B comparison. I already kind of have a recording of like my microphone just going through this by itself with both microphones that I have. And then I will have another one, a track where I have this with both with only one microphone, because you can't use this with a condenser, because the thing is when you're using this specifically, the way that this little stick works is that you have to have phantom power with this. That's the whole purpose. That's why it boosts the gain. Is because, like, for instance, you can hook this up into the interface like that, right? And you can hook your microphone up with here, and then you can engage the phantom power, and that's what powers this, right? You don't have to stick it in directly into this input. Like I said, you can have a microphone cable here, and then the other end of the microphone can come into this, and then this will go into the microphone. So there's two cables essentially, and this is kind of the middle of both. They're both coming into this right here. But you have to have phantom power for this. So in other words, you can't use a condenser with this because the condenser is already using 48 volts. So something to note if you're trying to ever use one of these is that you can use it with pretty much any microphone that's not a condenser, because a condenser microphone has to use 48 volts. So that's that. So yeah, what I'm going to do in the video is basically, like I said, I'm going to record a dry signal where I'm just coming from the microphone directly into the USB 96 without, just using the preamps on board here. And I'm just going to talk, and you'll hear what that sounds like. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the Dynamite stick into here. And then I'm going to record with the microphone going through the Dynamite stick. So that way you can hear that. And then what I'll do is I will take this nice vintage golden age preamp that I have here that I'm borrowing. And I'll do that, and I'll go through that. And I'm going to hook how you do that, right? So basically with this, you have the input and the output here. This is the microphone input. This is where you hook your microphone into. This is the output right here, both of these, right? So you have a balanced TRS output, and you have a balanced XLR output. This is an insert tab right here. This is a line level. I mean, both of these are line level technically, but this is for when you're like hooking up other gear maybe to this via the insert. It's two different ways that you can utilize this essentially. But basically how you would hook this up to your interface is you'd go from this output here to one of the inputs on the front here. And then what you do is all of your gain is controlled and your phantom power is controlled from here. So once you're hooked up to this, you don't have to touch this anymore. This is just basically a way for this to get into the computer. So once you have this hooked up to your interface, then you can go right into the computer. And then this is where you would have your phantom power and your gain, and you do all your adjustments, and then you record your signal right into it. And that's what's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to have a representation, and I have two microphones, like I said, that I'm going to test out. I'm going to do the Shure 55 here, which is a super cardioid dynamic microphone. The pattern that it picks up is pretty narrow, but it's also a dynamic microphone. It's very good for vocals, very good for recording guitars, if you have guitars over the amplifiers, things like that. And then I have a PreSonus M7 microphone. I can grab it for you. basically on this mic stand, and I forgot to take it off before I started this video, so bear with me here. It's not coming off right now. That's fine. I'll show you guys when I go to do the recording of it, but basically I can have it to, well, actually I can take it out in a different way. Sorry, give me one sec here.
2 hours later.
Sorry about that. I don't like getting up during videos, but anyway, this is the PreSonus M7 condenser microphone. It's really funny. I've had this for a while, and that's why there's a piece of tape on it, because it kind of broke and split open. And the only way to fix it was to put the tape on it. But I've had this thing for probably 6-7 years now. And it's a great microphone. I mean, this came with my very first recording pack ever. And this is a solid piece of gear. And if you were to buy this alone, just by itself, you're probably looking at $80 to $90 for this microphone. But for that price, $80 to $90 for that microphone, this thing actually kicks butt. And you can see it's got the cardioid pattern here. So like a lot of rejection in the back, and then it picks up pretty well. And this is one of those things where this uses 48 volts. So like this is one of those that's really great for room mics, where you put it, you can put it in the middle of the room, and you can stand on the other side of the room, and it picks up really, really well. And you'll see, so I have both of these microphones here. I have this one and I have this one. And these are what I'm going to be utilize to show you these two different preamps. Like I said, the Dynamite stick can only be used with this one. So when I go and show you the Dynamite stick on that next part of this video, is you're going to hear what this sounds like by itself through this interface, and then you're going to hear this through the same interface, and you'll hear the differences of that. But then I'm going to hook this up to that golden age preamp, that vintage preamp that I was showing you, going through this as well, and you'll hear through that. So you'll have kind of 3 different examples of what this microphone is going to sound like. This one's only going to have two examples, because it'll have the dry signal where I'm just speaking through this directly into this interface, and then this will also go through that preamp, and you'll hear that signal as well. So stay tuned for that, because I'm going to be doing the recording for that here very, very soon. See now, okay, so now this is going through the golden age preamp here. So now you can kind of see what it sounds like. Now if I adjust some of these parameters, right, you can definitely, you start hearing it. Way back here, it sounds great. This is a monster preamp. Like, monster preamp. This thing is beautiful. It's got that 1/4 inch in the front that you can do guitar with, or bass. You can throw a bass guitar in here. But I got it plugged in on the back with the microphone to go through this Shure 55 here. And so I wanted to kind of show off this this piece of gear here. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a very simple preamp, honestly. So you can really kind of hear that sound. So that's the golden age. The next thing we'll do is we'll go through the Dynastic here. So give me 1 sec to get that all kind of set up. So now this is going through the Dynastic. So you can already hear, like, I mean, this is a pretty good thing right here. And I mean, the gains turned out pretty good. If I was to kind of bring it down a little bit, that's about 12 o'clock. The knob is at 12 o'clock right now, and it still has a really good kind of tone, right? And so this little Dynastic is a pretty good little tool. Nothing too crazy. Good bang for your buck. It's quick and easy. If you need a little boost on your microphone when you're doing stuff like podcasting, like what we're doing right now, and all sorts of other stuff, That's all you need. You know, honestly, it's a very good tool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the Dynastick, and we're going to go just straight from this right into the interface, and you'll kind of hear the difference, right? Because you already heard the pre-73 sounded amazing, really good. You're listening through the Dynastick right now, pretty decent. Still got a nice, good level. We're not peaking, we're not, you know, inaudible. And so now we're going to kind of go through the interface by itself, and you'll see, like, I'm going to smash the gain on it, and you'll really, like, you'll hear the difference. Trust me. All right. So this is, you can see level, right? But this is me talking, and I mean, the gain is 1 o'clock right now, and there's not a whole lot happening. Nothing really at all. But now as I kind of crank this up a little bit, now we're almost at, I mean, shoot, that right there, that's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock even. I mean, that's all the way up. The gain knob is literally, I can't turn it up anymore. And so this is about that same level that we were getting through the other preamps at, you know, very low volume. But now this is what it, like, this is 12 o'clock right now, and you can barely hear it. Like, it's really, wow. Yeah, see, like right there, I'm kind of going back and forth, and it's kind of cutting in and out. So yeah, the preamps on this interface they're okay. I mean, they're good for, they're okay. They're not bad for like recording guitars and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of just the preamps by itself. That's why I bought this Dynastick, honestly, because I wanted a little bit more juice to come with this microphone. So, but anyway, but yeah, those are the pieces of gear, and thank you guys for sticking with me in this. And if you like what I'm doing, like, share, subscribe. There's gonna be, you know, every Sunday more content. I look forward to showing you guys the next one. Take care. Have a great holiday. Peace. Thank you guys for paying attention. Hope you enjoy this. And yeah, these are solid pieces of gear. So take care. Have a good holiday, and we'll see you next time.